When I was around 13 or 14, I knew I wanted to work with clothes. It was so clear to me. I wanted to tell a story, not where I came from, but where I want to be in the future.
Growing up, there were no like entrepreneurs in your family or around you. How did you find them and how did you learn from them? Before you even got to this point, you had some 2 failures like with other brands that you started. So how did that happen that you didn't succeed with that? And then how did you also like reinvent yourself to eventually be where you are now?
You need to own your story. You are the creator of your life.
Right.
And whatever those limitations are, you just need to stop retelling the story of being a victim.
You have dealt with like burnout before from work and stuff like that, right? How did you recover from that? Like what are some of the things that, you did to be able to, kind of like get back on track and, re-energize yourself? So, Karoliina, welcome to the Godson Pratt Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And, our vision and mission for the Godson Pratt Podcast is to tell inspiring stories, amazing stories to, inspire and motivate people, mostly to believe in themselves, to also be able to do the undoable. And I'm very honored to have you here because from the little that I've heard about your story, I'm really inspired to share your story with our audience. So thank you once again for coming to the Godson Pratt Podcast.
Thank you so much.
I tried to write a little bit introduction. Yeah, just for the sake of the audience. I'm not really sure that I've done a great job because I'm not the best writer, but I did my best, So it says, what does it take to turn failure into fashion and resilience into runway dreams? Today's guest grew up in Lapland with limited resources but unlimited imagination. Fashion became her escape, her dreams, and eventually her life's work. After setbacks that would make most people quit, she refused to give up, choosing instead to create a brand for women who want to step into their power and own their story. Founder of her namesake label, Karoliina Kirsikka, please welcome to the Godson Pratt Podcast.
Oh my goodness, you did great.
You think so?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I would try to introduce you as much as I want, but I don't think I can do, a better job. So for the sake of our audience, if you have to introduce yourself to them, how would you, in your own words, like shortly introduce yourself? Like, who are you, what you do, and why do you do what you do?
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it simple.
Yeah.
My name is Karoliina, and I'm originally from Lapland, from a small village called Sodankylä.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a single-parent household.
Okay.
And when I moved here, I started to pursue my dream as a fashion designer, as a stylist, makeup artist.
Right.
And as it goes for my personal life, I live with my 12-year-old young boy, young alpha male at the moment.
We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah. And we live a happy life here in Helsinki. And
that's nice.
Yeah, life is good.
So Lapland, that's quite a famous city in Finland. Very cold, I suppose.
Yeah.
How is growing up in Lapland like?
Well, I told you, I grew up in a single-parent household with my mom and brother, and money was always a struggle for us. Sometimes people think there's no such thing as poverty in Finland.
Yeah.
Of course, that's a little bit subjective.
Okay.
But there is a type of poverty in Finland, and I have experienced it firsthand. But one thing we never lacked was love and warmth and humor. There were always so much positivity in our household because of my mom, and she's the best.
I could almost see the emotions in your face when you said that. It's like you can almost see yourself back there.
Yeah, and I think I lived a happy childhood.
Yeah.
Because of my mom and her love. And her heart.
Love always wins, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like, I think, like you said, especially when you are from Finland sometimes, and when we are from Africa, if we talk about poverty, I think pretty much everybody accepts it, because it's like kind of like common conception about Africa that there's like poverty. So if I would say like I grew up in a poverty, like childhood or neighborhood, I think it's easy for people to kind of relate. But when you are from Finland, it's very difficult.
They start to question it.
Exactly, but like now when I've myself grown up in Finland, you understand, like, it's very possible that sometimes you might, live in a Finnish household where you don't even necessarily have, enough money to buy food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like you said, your mom's love, it's like, mothers are just special, because they could be going through the toughest of time, but they will still be able to, put themselves together, and even if it's like little bread or little food, they will, cover so much love around it that you don't even feel that,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes people think if I say my childhood, I lived in poverty, they think, oh, it's middle class. But no, we weren't middle class. We weren't even lower middle class.
Wow.
There were times when we were surviving. But yes, we always had a roof for our heads. That's why I said it's a little bit subjective.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. But so, take me a little bit back, right? Because like from all that you are saying, it's not like the childhood was like super glamorous and stuff like that, but somehow you still had like big dreams.
Yeah.
How, like, where did you get that kind of imagination from? Because obviously Lapland is not like Helsinki where you see like, different type of lifestyle,
Exactly,
so where did that imagination come from, like, for you?
So I think because we were, we weren't that wealthy when it comes to financial things. Emotionally, yes, but financial things. And the poverty, I think it's just, it was multi-generational. Like my grandparents were struggling, my great-grandparents were struggling. And I knew from early on, I wanted to break that cycle.
Okay.
And that awareness gave me so much strength, but also responsibility.
For sure.
And because I'm a very passionate person, I have always been like that. I knew I can only do something that I really love. And when I was around 13 or 14, I knew I wanted to work with clothes. It was so clear to me that I wanted to work with clothes, and because they always gave me so much hope. And with clothes, you always tell a story, and I wanted to tell a story not where I came from, but where I want to be in the future. And clothes also gave me so much joy and playfulness too. To this day, I feel like when I open my closet, I'm like, how fun do I want this day to be? Because clothes really let me play with that answer. And that's, I think, part of my brand as well. I really want my clothes to bring joy and playfulness and the permission to dream big. Right.
So, but like, I still want to kind of like, it's quite interesting, like, when you were a child, you had this, dream or vision. I think there's many kids who wanted to be a lot of things when, they were kids. Like some wanted to be doctors, pilots and stuff like that. But, as you grow, life happens, and then you have all different types of challenges and obstacles. And then they just kind of like, sometimes end up in like maybe coffee shops, and then they stay there, or end up in some, fast food chains and stuff, and they stay there. But somehow you kind of like manage to follow your childhood passion, and then here we are. So I like, how did you manage to kind of like follow that passion and your dream?
Good question. I think it's part of the resilience.
Right.
I have always been very strong-willed. My mom used or says to this day that I was the challenging child compared to my calm and collected brother. So that fire was always in me. Right. But it's also a skill you need to develop, the resilience part. Right. So I think discipline is the key for any dream to come true.
For sure.
because dreaming is beautiful, but dreams without discipline remain just dreams.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's like that type of resilience and stuff, is this something that you got, from your mother, or like where did it come from? Is this something that you just naturally had, or like,
Yeah, I think it's part of the, I was naturally like that.
Okay.
But it's definitely, especially nowadays, I have needed to practice that discipline and resilience.
Right.
But what I have learned is that when you really want something, you really want your dream to come true, the consistency comes naturally, and the discipline doesn't feel like a sacrifice.
Right.
It becomes devotion. And
So let's go a little bit back again, right? You had the vision to do something with clothes and stuff like that, but obviously you didn't just end up there. Like, you had to do a lot of different type of things before you got there. So I think some of the things that I found, from researching you is like, you did some makeup and, some costume designing for like TV commercials and stuff. Like, tell us about that. How did you get into that?
So I always knew I wanted to be a designer, but I didn't have the qualities in me yet.
Okay.
Like I didn't, or maybe they were in me, but I didn't know how to develop them, because I didn't have any. There's no entrepreneurs in my family. I had no idea.
Okay.
But I was really unhappy doing different kind of jobs. I was working in a cafeteria or restaurant, being as a waitress. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just isn't my thing.
Exactly.
And then I was in one of these like office jobs, and I was really unhappy because I am so creative, and I felt like my soul was shrinking. And then I just needed to step to the unknown and just take a courageous step and be an entrepreneur. Even I didn't have any examples of being an entrepreneur. I didn't even know what that means or what that is supposed to look like. So, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. Otherwise, my soul is gonna die.
Exactly. And I think like, that's a very good thing, in a way that, you have that instinct to, the potential is there and you kind of feel it.
Yeah.
And even though you are doing like everything else, other than the main thing that, your soul really wants to flourish in, but then you are having that kind of like divine guidance to really go for it. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, because sometimes you meet people who, really, truly and genuinely, they want to be like musicians, but then they are in a position where being a musician does not pay the bills, they have to do something else to, be able to, make that happen. And then they just eventually quit and they give up, on that, because, it's very risky to take a jump into something that you are passionate about, but you cannot monetize, And so in a way, like, you were able to do it like, successfully, but I'm sure that it must have been scary to.
It was so scary. And it also requires other people. So I don't think you get to success on your own. And it's always good to be humble in that sense, and always remember the people who helped you.
For sure.
So there was many people who helped me into TV shows and that in that scene. So I couldn't do it alone.
For sure. But you also mentioned that, like, growing up, there were no like entrepreneurs in your family or around you.
Yeah.
So how did you eventually find the people who had, those type of skills that you can learn from them to build it? Because that's also very important, because sometimes it's like we are not exposed to different type of people. So we think like all that we have is just what is around us.
Yeah.
But even though you didn't have entrepreneurs around you, you were able to somehow navigate to find, people with those type of qualities and learn from them. So how did you find them and how did you learn from them?
Yeah, I actually didn't find them. I'm a bit of a lone wolf.
Okay.
I'm really super introverted.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I know. No one ever believes it.
Right.
But yeah, so I read books. I listened to different podcasts.
Okay.
And there was a time when I was only interested about the creative side.
Right.
I wasn't interested in the business side of fashion.
Right.
But I have learned that you need to be good at both if you want to be successful.
Right.
Yeah, and my dreams are big.
Right.
So I really need to learn both.
Right.
But that's today I think that's so exciting for me. Like if the creativity and the business side dance together, that's like true success for me. For
sure. But also it hasn't been like an easy journey for you. I think you've had some challenges and stuff like that. I mean, from one of the things that I found researching you, it's like what you have now with your brand, like Karoliina Kirsikka. Like, am I saying it even correctly?
Yeah.
That's how you say it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's like before you even got to this point, you had some 2 failures, like with other brands that you started. So what were those, and like how did that happen that you didn't succeed with that? And then how did you also like reinvent yourself to eventually be where you are now?
Yeah, good that you talked about this, because I think it's so important to talk about failures.
For sure.
The first time I absolutely just thought too small. I was very young, and it was a huge success.
Right.
And I couldn't scale my business.
Okay.
I didn't even know what the word scaling even means.
Right,
I was like, what? I was just so, my mind was very small. I tried to do everything on my own, and I didn't know how to delegate, and that gave me a bit of a burnout. And when I finally did hire people, they weren't the right ones.
Right.
And I learned 2 crucial things. Always dream big.
Right.
And choose your team with deep care.
Right.
And the second time, it wasn't so much about others. It was just my personal self-doubt. I didn't even launch anything. I didn't even get to that point to launch anything because my self-doubt was too strong. And I tried to control every outcome. So I learned that you don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to see the step that you are taking.
Exactly.
And the next one will reveal itself.
Exactly. So that's how you manage to, but like a lot of people after one failure would have quit.
Yeah.
And you didn't after 2 failures.
Yeah.
What was this like burning desire that you just kept, coming back? Like, what was it that you wanted to like really achieve with the brand? Because I read from your story that eventually you wanted to create a brand or clothing for women who wanted to own their stories and kind of like stand in their glory. But is it because at some point in your life, like you didn't feel like you yourself like was standing in owning your story and stuff like that? Why did you have that strong desire to create that brand that gave women that type of empowerment?
Yeah, so I think those 2 failures did discourage me for a while.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I think I lost hope at some point. But in that painful pause, I found that if I lose hope, I will lose my dream forever. I couldn't let that to happen.
Great, you didn't.
Yeah. Exactly. And I have been so lucky because I have always liked makeup and styling, but I knew in my heart they weren't my deepest passion.
Right.
And I really, really heard a whisper that I was meant for something different than this. And that was the turning point for me when I realized that I really need to step to the unknown and face the fear of of failure.
Right.
Than I felt so empty. I really wanted to, try again and face that fear than the emptiness that I felt in the current situation that I was in. And as I was walking this journey, of course, I also found me as a person more and more. And I think that gave the personality to the brand also.
100%.
And I really want my brand to represent like main character energy. You need to own your story. You are the creator of your life.
Right.
And most important, I think it is important for women to own their femininity.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That is the core quality of my brand,
for sure,
like owning, embracing your femininity.
First, I'm glad that, with all the struggles that you had, you didn't quit. I always say that, I believe that sometimes when, we have like rock bottom moment, is, one of the time that a lot of people break and they give up. But what I have personally come to believe, through all, different type of experiences, like sometimes in those rock bottom moment when you are like really the lowest, that you cannot go any further and the only place to look is up. I think if you can just be bold and courageous enough to just look up, I think sometimes you can see a little bit glimpse of hope.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Like you said, sometimes you don't have to see the whole staircase, but you just need to see the first one,
Exactly.
So my personal life philosophy is like rock bottom is the ultimate starting point,
Yes.
So if right now, let's say you would close your eyes and imagine, the little Karoliina who was like really trying to bring this passion out, but she was really struggling, and she's standing there and she wants to give up. And you could say something to her, because like now fast forward, here we are. Like what would you say to that little Karoliina? Because there are many people who right now they are probably in that point that it's so difficult and challenging that they have lost their courage, they have lost hope, and they just want to go back into the shell and just probably give up. So if you would say something to that little girl, what would it be? What would you say to them?
Well, when I was a little girl, I thought everything was possible. I think children are pure in that sense.
Right.
You don't know about all the obstacles.
Exactly.
And the fear of failure comes a little bit later in life.
Right.
And also, if we other people's opinions matter to us when we are a bit older.
For sure.
But I think that's a really good turning point for us when we just don't care what other people think
of us. Right.
And about the failures as well. But I would say to that little Karoliina that I love you. I see your vision. I see your dreams. And I will carry your courage even when you were shy and even when you felt small. I will never abandon us, and I will never be ashamed of our dreams.
That's a beautiful message to all the people out there who are trying to make something of themselves and they are currently struggling, which sometimes might even be me, because sometimes it's like when you see, when the vision is so big, but you are this small, sometimes it's like very difficult, because like your current situation does not even reflect your vision.
Exactly.
And, like sometimes believing in yourself is very, very difficult, during those times. But that's why personally I like to share this type of messages, because when I see like what other people have been through and how they have managed to overcome all those obstacles and still be able to build something as beautiful as you have done, I think it's like really important to to share this type of stories to encourage and motivate people who might need it. But let's talk about your clothing brand now. Tell us a little bit about it. Like, when did you start it, and how did you manage to finally get started with it?
So I felt like, okay, this current situation that I was in, it just doesn't feed me anymore, like my soul. And I wanted to try again, and I was like, okay, this third time I'm gonna make it. Like, now there's no other option. I'm gonna make it all in, because I could not be in the situation that I was in any longer. I was meant to expand, and so is everyone else. So I couldn't close my eyes from my soul evolution and from my expansion. So I really I was really determined to launch it. And now I feel like I have this unshakable belief in myself, and I don't care how foolish I look to some people for trying again and again. For me, what's foolish for some is freedom for others.
100%.
So
100%.
I feel so free at the moment, because I'm really living my dream life.
Right. And I think like that is also like one of the most beautiful thing is like, once you are in your element, you shine bright, because now you have the passion, you have the zeal, you have the enthusiasm, and like you have something to live for that you really love, and I think like that's really, really beautiful. But again, like, I found you on social media because I have a few friends who were posting your clothes, and then I was like, I like this clothing. This is like different, like super powerful. It's like, how do you say? It's like really different. So I was like, okay, let me check this page, So then I went to check your page, and I was like, okay, this is like very energetic and stuff like that. And then I was like, I'm gonna send you a message or something. So initially I was, telling my girlfriend that she should send the message, and then she was like, no, you should send it. Because, sometimes it's also a little bit, like insecurity, because I'm thinking like, because obviously I didn't know who you were at the time. I'm just seeing like this designer with all these beautiful clothes and all these beautiful models and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, maybe if I'm sending you the message, because I'm not like a fan or stuff like that, it's not going to work. But then it's like, I still send you the message somehow, and luckily for me, you responded that we can do this.
Absolutely.
And I didn't even know much about your story. I was just thinking like, okay, with the way that your energy, like your designs and stuff like that, I felt like there is like a deeper meaning behind this, and then I wanted to dig a little bit deeper. So one of the things, like you told me off camera, like how you were getting like some of one of the models that you used. Again, I think like that was like it shows also how resilient that you are, in the sense like you see somebody and then you think like this would be a perfect fit like as a model for you, but in that time you didn't know if they were available or interested, but somehow you kind of like message them and try
I'm like, I'm not giving up. I have such a strong vision, and I have so many ideas. I usually know exactly what I want, and also with the clothes, I know what textures, colors, shapes. They just appear to me in such a clear vision. Sometimes even when I sleep in my dreams, I see a cloth, some product, and when I wake up, I'm like, okay, now I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and the ideas never stop coming. I feel like that kind of creative flow is present, and I try to be very open and really stay loyal to those ideas that keep coming. And those ideas also fill me with so much joy and abundance. But we shouldn't just compromise our vision too much. I think it's very important to be determined. If you have a clear vision, then you just go for it.
For sure, for sure. But you also mentioned that you have like a little son or a big kid, so to speak. But
always my baby boy.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think he agrees, but
yeah. I mean, even me, as old as I am, when it comes to my mom or my dad, I'm always you're little baby, So the thing is, like, I think when it comes to chasing our dreams and building something, especially starting your own business and building a brand, for most people, some of the excuses that they may have is like, I'm a single parent, or like, I went through like divorce or breakups and stuff like that, So for most people, that becomes like a valid reason, to not do anything,
True.
And then also it's like, of course, if you have a kid, that also like another, profession on its own, because that's like a full-time job, having a kid.
Yeah.
How have you personally managed to navigate, being, like a mother, and also like a single mother, but also being able to build a brand, which is not the easiest thing, obviously. How have you managed to navigate like both of those worlds to find a balance?
Yeah. So my son has a great father, and he's very much involved.
Right. That's
awesome. So I'm in a grateful, situation.
Right.
But whatever those limitations are, you just need to stop retelling the story of being a victim, because it starts by taking accountability of your own happiness, of your own dreams.
Right.
Because if you have that victim mindset, I cannot do this because of this, and all the excuses that we have, we just need to start telling a story that empowers us, and not takes away our power. And if we keep retelling the story how we were once a victim, we have all these limitations, we're not going to achieve anything.
For sure.
So I really try to monitor my thoughts and the things that I tell myself, and I want to tell a story that empowers me, that gives me strength to pursue my dream, and not that where I was once back in my life, or any limitations that I have. And motherhood has given me so much.
For sure.
Much. Yeah. So my son is definitely not a limitation. But I'm just talking in general, sometimes people have all these excuses. And the truth is, sometimes there was a time when we all have been a victim.
For sure.
And that is sad, and we need to process that, of course. But the danger is if we keep retelling that story, reliving that story, it becomes a prison.
For sure.
And it takes away from our freedom.
So, I think like that's a very, beautiful way that you put it, because sometimes the stories that we tell ourselves, they have so much power over what we can do and, what we cannot do. And I think like one of my favorite quote is like, whether you believe you can or you can't, either way you are right.
Exactly.
So it's like I would rather tell myself like, stories that will empower me to go forward, even though, like I said, sometimes your current situation might not, reflect your vision.
Yeah.
So I think like that's really powerful skill or mentality that you have, that, regardless of the obstacles or the struggles, you would empower yourself with like, the stories of the destination instead of your current place. And, I think like when it comes to you, it seems like that has worked like, beautifully well,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we are the main characters of our lives.
100%.
And that's we need to own that.
100%.
We have this one beautiful life. We mustn't be the side character of it.
For sure.
We are the main characters.
Right.
And we need to own that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think you are playing your role like really beautifully. I mean, I truly want to see the whole thing, because like I've seen some of the things that you have done, and with your runway dreams and stuff, that's like, really amazing and, really beautiful. But, one question also that I wanted to ask you, is, you have dealt with, like burnout before from work and stuff like that, right? How did you recover from that? Like, what are some of the things that, you did to be able to, kind of like get back on track and, re-energize yourself?
We need to be very empathetic of ourselves and our journeys, and we live in a quite hectic world and in a demanding world as well.
Right.
So we need self-compassion and we need rest as well. Sometimes rest will take us more further than always doing stuff. And I think that's part of the feminine energy as well.
For sure.
You need to, know how to be very empathetic towards yourself as well.
For sure.
Not only to others. So yeah, I think I gave the rest that I needed. And on the other side of that struggle, that burnout, I found strength and I found new kind of passion for the future. So I think the challenges are not always a bad thing. I'm actually really grateful for that experience as well.
For sure. Because I think like sometimes, the challenges, like Friedrich Nietzsche says, like, what don't break you makes you.
Yeah,
and
makes you stronger.
Exactly. So my hope or my prayer is that, sometime when people have challenges or situation that seems like, this is going to break you, I think like it's always good to see a little bit opportunity even in the abyss.
Yes.
I heard something from one teacher one time, like he was trying to explain the word crisis in Chinese, and I don't remember exactly how he interpreted it, but what I understood was like, even in Chinese, the word crisis actually means like opportunity.
Wow. That's cool.
Exactly. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, this is like another different mentality, because it's like when I have crisis, then I should look for the opportunities, within that. You get it. So it's like, that's like a very different level of mentality.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
And you seem to have that. You didn't hear the Chinese say, but you already have that. That's really awesome. And, I'm really happy that, we got to, do this and,
me too.
Hear a little bit about your story. And, I'm really excited with what you want to go. But I don't want to leave our audience hanging, because, like, I know that you have some runway projects and stuff like that in the pipeline. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the projects that you have coming up? And then, like, I know you have big dreams and big visions. Do you want to share some of it with us? Like, let's say in 5 years, luckily or hopefully, if we are sitting here again and doing this conversation, where do you see yourself, and what type of, things do you want to do in,
Yeah. So I have this perspective. I want my actions to speak louder than words.
Right.
Because if I talk about too much of my goals, I invite other people to comment them, to judge them. And sometimes that can derail us. And confuse us.
True.
So I'm just gonna say that big things are coming.
We are waiting. We are hoping. Yeah. Like that's like really, nicely put.
Yeah.
So we will.
Do you agree?
No,
right.
100%.
Yeah.
Because again, like I heard, one artist say, like, there is people who build in silence and they only show us the result,
Yeah.
And then there's like people who also like show you the result, but like masters never show, their process. They only show their product,
Yeah, exactly. I think I really want to focused on creating and not explaining what I'm creating.
Right.
Because of that, you know, I'm very a private person in general as well. In my personal life, I have a very small circle of friends. And I like to keep it that way, because then it's not out of my focus. I stay more focused when I don't, you know, speak too loudly about my goals or stuff.
Exactly.
And that I don't let other people too much into my circle. And it's not like I love people. That is actually a bit of a challenge for me, because I really love people and I love to make new friends. Yeah. And sometimes it's so hard to say, no, I cannot see you. We cannot like become friends because I really want to stay really focused now. Right. Like I'm, this is my current situation of my life. So now I really need to stay focused.
For sure.
So that's why I cannot make new friends. Yeah. And we talked about a little bit off camera, celibacy. So I think that is actually very important as well. You know, you need to stay in control of your urges and that kind of stuff as well, because then you really are focused.
For sure, 100%.
And focus are so important when we want to create something big. 100%. So you need to stay focused.
100%.
And
I think like focus is key, you know, like, you know, there's this, one guy said like at one point he was in the room with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, and then he asked both of them the same question at the same time, that what is really the key to success? And funny enough, both of them answered at the same time, focus. You know, so I think like focus is key, and the more that we can focus on, you know, the vision and the goal, we are, you know, guaranteed, you know, of success.
Yes.
So, you know, I think like your story is very, you know, inspiring, and, you know, I'm really glad and happy that, you know, you took time off your busy schedule to do this interview with us. I also think because you've shared so much wisdom and, you know, like so much mentality and stuff like that. I wanted to, you know, ask for the sake of my audience, because you also mentioned like, you know, earlier on, like you know, read some books and stuff like that. You know, I always kind of like to recommend books with, you know, to my audience, because me also personally, one of the things that really helped me at some point was like books, you know. So if you would, you know, recommend a book that, you know, you think like somehow can help our audience, maybe one or two or even three, what is like one of the books that comes in mind?
Well, the first one is Eckhart Tolle.
Okay. Power of Now?
Yeah, Power of Now. That's the English version of it.
Right.
That is amazing. Like, I read it long time ago, the first time, and I always like reread it.
Right.
Because it always gives, it's different layers, you know? I get deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah. So I think that's a great book. And what else? That talks about presence, being present. Right. And when you are a creative person, you really need to be present.
That's true.
Because that's when your creativity starts to flow more freely.
Right.
And what else? There's so many good books. So many. And also I love Abraham Hicks. Right. She's amazing, like super positive and joyous, and always reminds me to be grateful every day. When you are in that grateful state, success becomes the only possible outcome, because
100%.
Gratefulness is so important. It's crucial.
100%.
Yeah. 100%. So I really try to practice that daily.
100%. Yeah. So maybe I will, on top of that, I would also add a little bit about maybe Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned about, you know, the focusing how do you say, like the sensual, or, you know, I'm trying to use the best, the possible, the nicest word I can. So I think like in the Think and Grow Rich book, there is a portion about how do you call it? I think like sex transmutation.
Yeah.
So it explains how to focus that energy, you know, so that you can put it into, you know, being productive or being, you know, like creative and stuff like that. So I think, you know, the two that you mentioned is like really awesome. I have the, you know, the Hicks collections as well.
Yeah.
I've read that. I think
So cool.
Ona has read those too. Like I think I always try to force her to read my books. And usually she'll be like, no, but that was like one of the ones that she really read, like I think 2 of them or maybe all 3 if I remember correctly. So I think like those are, you know, powerful pieces that if you can find them, please read them, you know. So Karoliina, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate this. Was amazing. I don't even know if I did a great job, you know, because you have so much wisdom that, you know, I don't want to cheat my audience. So I hope I did a good job, you know, trying to get the best out of you. But thank you so much for coming to the Godson Pratt Podcast.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Hopefully, you know, we will do this again, and we wish you like the best of luck, you know, in your coming project and stuff. And if maybe at any point there's anything that we from Godson Pratt Podcast can help you with, please let us know. Otherwise, we will share your I know like you're a private person and stuff like that, but if you have some, you know, if people want to follow your project and stuff, like, you know, if you want people to support you, maybe we can share some links maybe to your Instagram and stuff like that, so, you know, those who want to follow and see what you're doing, they can check you out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and nice to have you. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thanks to the team as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.